First things first, what I'm getting ready to say is not for dramatic effect. I truly believe it to be a factual statement, and here it is. For a really long time, I believe that I have been addicted to sugar, and I may have spoken about this before on my channel, but we're going to talk more about that today, and how 4 days ago I just made a decision that we've got to go cold turkey. Sugar and I just needed to split and go our separate ways, and I think this time probably for good. So maybe a year or two ago, I cut out sugar for nearly a year, about 8 months. I was without sugar. The only sweets that I had were from fruit and also from honey. If added sugar was on the nutrition label, I was not eating it. So I want to share with you guys this new journey that I'm going on, why I'm doing it, and just how it's going. And the plan is to do weekly updates just to share some stories and what I'm thinking, how I'm feeling, how it's affecting my body physically, what's going on with me mentally in the process. And my hope is to connect with and really help anyone else who finds themselves in a similar situation to me, where you just realize you have a really unhealthy and possibly or probably addictive relationship with sugar. And again, not trying to be dramatic. My therapist recommended this book to me called Addictive Thinking, Understanding Self-Deception. It's written by Abraham Tversky, medical doctor. I haven't read it yet, but we're getting into the summer in 1 week. Next week, Friday, is my last day of school. So I have literally 7 days left, and then I'll have so much more time on my hands. But I'm really going to be sharing most of this journey over on my other channel, Everyday Deanda Blog. I'm going to link it up above. And that's just because that's a channel where I share about living a life in a more simple way through systems, habits, and routines. And cutting out sugar is going to have to become a habit for me. I know I'm going to have some systems in place to stay strong and stick with it. And it's just going to be a part of my routine. So that's why I'll really be sharing more about it over there. However, I know I've been really absent from this channel for most of this school year just because it's been a really difficult, very challenging school year. So I just have not had the time or the energy or will to make very many videos. But I know in the summer that will change, and I'll be cranking out some more content for you guys. So if you're new around here, my name is Deanda. Thanks for stopping by. Everyone, new or not, go ahead and like this video by clicking the thumbs up button. If while you're at it, click the red subscribe button down below. It's free, it's easy, you got this. So I like to make videos on this channel related to my life as a wife, a mom, a teacher, a believer. I dabble in DIYs, and then all of my other interests sprinkled in between. So if a variety channel is your cup of tea, then by all means, hit the subscribe button. I'd love to have you. Now, as we get into this whole sugar addiction thing, for as long as I can remember, I've had probably an unhealthy relationship with food, just in general. I didn't realize it earlier because I feel like it's probably just part of my culture, my family growing up. My mom is Jamaican. She would make huge amounts of delicious food, and we would always have seconds. Like, you weren't done eating until you ate at least twice. And so I didn't realize that everyone doesn't do this until I got married. And like, I would load up my husband's plate, like my mom would load up her plate, like my mom would load up my dad's plate. Like, we just eat a lot of food and then eat more for seconds afterwards. And he's like, that's too much. Like, why are you giving me so much food? I'm like, oh, okay. And then he would eat this little bit of food, and then that would be it, like, not go back for seconds. Like, no matter what I'm eating, I usually would always go back for seconds. So portion control has always been an issue for me. And then also an unhealthy relationship with sugar. Like, I've always eaten so many sweets and overeaten. Like, I could be not hungry, but if it's there, I'll eat. Or I could already be full, but if it's sweet, then I just feel like I gotta have more and more and more. Like, enough is just never enough, right? Always kind of an unhealthy relationship with food. Like, I remember I used to go to bed thinking about all the things that I would eat the next day. Like, food was just always on my mind. And I don't think that's healthy, but that's just kind of the way that I've always been. If we go back to, like, you know, when I cut out sugar for nearly a year, at some point, I don't remember, I think it was Christmas time 2021, I got a tin of like shortbread cookies as a gift at work, and I was like, I probably shouldn't eat this. Like, it was my gateway back into sugar. And I had the shortbread cookies, and I had more, and I had more. And I ended up eating, like, the whole thing. Probably not all in one setting at first, but it definitely opened me up into having sugar in the Christmas season, and I just never stopped. And it was okay, and it was controllable until it wasn't. Just feeling like I have to hide, the sugar that I'm eating, or like, my husband called me the other day, and I had gone from work straight to this local grocery store we have, where they have kind of a takeout window where you can get soft serve ice cream, and they cut up fresh strawberries or mangoes or fruit and put it on there. And he's like, "Where are you?" I was like, "Well, I had to go to the store and get something." I didn't tell him I stopped specifically for getting ice cream. I didn't even go in the grocery store. I just went to the takeout window for it. Or sometimes I'll have something sweet and sugary on my mind all day, and I just like can't get it out of my head. I just have to have it. It's not healthy, right? It's been interesting knowing that I went from addicted to sugar to not having any of it for 8 months, and then feeling like, how can I go back to that again? I tried, I did so well for so long, and I failed. Can I do it again? But I've been thinking a lot over the last several months about how I really believe this is an addiction. You probably are going to have to do something about this. And my therapist was telling me, she was like, you can be a little extreme. It's sometimes all or nothing. And you just have to learn how to live with a balance and moderation. Like, she kind of harps on me about how important it is to be able to have balance. What I've come to realize is that, like, in some areas maybe I do need to have balance, but when it comes to sugar, I think it's easier for me to just do completely without it than to try to live in this place of like balance and moderation, because it just starts becoming addictive when I do start having it, to the point where I can't really control it, or like it's so hard to control that I'd rather just be at the place where I'm not having any and not have to be fighting like urges and cravings to have sugar and sweet things. That's kind of the story of it. And on Monday was my first day of doing this. Monday, May the 16th, 2022. And I didn't go to work that day. I was sick, not feeling well, so I was at home, and found like a Sour Patch Kid on the little ledge on the top back part of the couch. I had been eating some on the couch with my son the day before, and I guess he like took a lick off of one and left it up there. When I found it, it was kind of like, the woman in the Bible, story of the woman in the Bible who rejoiced with great joy because she found a missing piece of gold or something. Like, she found her lost treasure. That's how I felt when I found that Sour Patch Kid. It's kind of like finding extra fries at the bottom of the bag that you didn't know were there. It just brings a little shot of great joy into your life. And so I have this shot of great joy on my first day of no sugar. I pick it up, I'm getting ready to put it in my mouth, and then something was like, "Girl, we don't eat sugar no more. Like, what are you doing? Stop that. Put it down." And it's just little things like that. Like, sugar is so ingrained into me, these fine granules of sugary goodness. I'm so used to just like having sugar all the time that now I'm having to be really mentally aware that we just don't do that anymore. It's retraining my brain, retraining the pathways, I don't know if it's called the neurons in my brain. Like, I just have to retrain it that we just don't do that anymore. So I'll be sharing stories like that of just how things are going, and I'll be sharing it over on my other channel, Everyday Deanna blog, again, because that's where I share about living more simply with systems, habits, and routines. I'll link that up above so that you can subscribe over there and follow me along on this journey if you're interested. Let me know, what is your relationship like with sugar? Would you say that you have a sweet tooth? Can you do without it? If you can do without it, consider yourself blessed, because it is a struggle. But I would love to hear from you. And if you want to hear more about the first time that I got myself off of sugar, I'll link my video up above where I talk about how God healed me from my pleural effusion and how I think that cutting sugar out may have played a role in that. See you in the comments and over in the next video.